you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait. The future started yesterday, and we're already late. We've been looking for a song to sing, search for
Good evening, Detroit. My name is Marshall Bryant, and I am one of the hosts on Empowered Living that you normally see on Sundays. But today we're doing something special. We're doing something for injustice in the state of Michigan. So today we have two special guests in the studio with us, Soji and Kwan. And we're going to be talking briefly, just for a few minutes this afternoon, about the DREAM Act and DACA. There's a special event going on tomorrow, and this is part one of Empowered Living's episode on the DREAM Act. So, can you all tell us about tomorrow's event, which is a march for the DREAM Act?
Oh yeah, we're kicking it off at first of all, my name's Juan. Thanks for having me. And we'll kick it off at 3 o'clock. We're starting at Roseville Park, over by I believe Corktown.
Like right in front of the train station.
Okay. So you all are activists, or tell us about your organization and how you came together, or how this event has come together for the DREAM Act.
We're working with Michigan United,
Okay.
and they work on all kinds of rights for immigrant rights, water rights. They're working on tax foreclosure as well, health care for everybody, just a whole variety of rights for everybody. And we're focusing tomorrow on DACA and getting some more attention on that issue.
Okay.
And also specifically, we're focusing on the passing of clean legislation like the DREAM Act. And Juan and I are both DECA recipients as well. So we kind of just came together, a few other DECA recipients and other community members to kind of organize this. So this is like very grassroots, led by people in the community.
Okay. So how long have you been doing this? Just
Well, Michigan United has been working on this for several years now. I personally started a couple months ago.
okay.
A couple months before Trump announced the end of DACA,
Right.
the slowly rollback of it. So once that happened, we kicked it into high gear like everyone else in the nation, and we've been working hard to get more attention around the issue to pass the Clean DREAM Act as soon as possible.
Okay. Okay. Because there will be voting soon, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We're expecting a vote by February 9th.
Okay.
We're expecting a vote by February 9th. That's when they're supposed to vote for the budget. That's the deadline that they gave in the last continued resolution. So we want them to pass the Clean DREAM Act in that budget bill as well. So that's what we're pushing.
Okay. All right. And tomorrow it's going to be the march is going to start at 3, and it's going to be from the train station. And where are you marching to?
We're going to march to Gary Peters' office, mainly because he is one of our senators, and he is one of the people that have told us, have told Dreamers many times that he stands with us, and just the past things that he's done kind of have stood against that. So kind of for him to see, we're holding him accountable as well. And also just to show generally the community, not just in Detroit, but in Michigan, that we're here. We're not going to hide in the shadows, and we're here to stay.
All right. All right. We want to make sure that DREAM Act gets passed. And then after that, I'm quite sure either way, you've got some type of plan to be progressive in making sure that, DACA recipients are treated fairly. Recently, there was, on Martin Luther King Day, Jorge Garcia.
Yeah.
That was a big issue. I saw that, and I was just appalled by that. Can you tell us about it? Were you there when that happened, when he was deported on Martin Luther King Day, or did you hear about it?
I heard about it. I wasn't there, but that's the situation that we're in. And he was a person that was a little too old he didn't meet the DACA requirements.
Right.
But as far as I know, a DREAM Act would have covered him. It
Right.
would have been able to help him.
Yeah. And he's just the perfect example of how this broken immigration system separates families. And he is one that got a lot of coverage, but I just heard today that a mom got taken right after dropping her kids off at school. So this is like a daily reality that we live in. It's just a lot of times because we are marginalized communities, we don't really kind of get heard in a way.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't always hear about everything. I recently heard a few weeks ago that there people are coming on Greyhound buses, of all places, Greyhound buses. And when did that become official that someone could come on a bus and say that, we can take you as of right now? That doesn't make sense to me, because that's never happened before.
It's inhumane.
It is.
No, and it happens all the time, and it's been happening for many years. I know at least for 10 years this has been happening. ICE is not supposed to be working together with the police, but based off of the things that we have heard and we know that people have experienced, it doesn't seem like that's the case. And people do get targeted just by traveling home. There was the case of a girl that we met, and her boyfriend were on their way home, and her boyfriend ended up getting arrested and put in ICE because they just kind of, while they were getting on the bus, they asked him for his documentation and just took him.
Wow. Wow, that's sad, because like you say, you don't want families separated, and then just the issues where to say he's too old for to be covered under DACA, and he has children to raise. So in that case, is anyone working toward something? Because I'm thinking, if he has children here, they sent him away, you would think he would be covered, or something to protect him as a parent, to say you have the right to raise your children, as long as your children are here, because his children are covered, correct?
His children are U.S. citizens. They were born here. So.
Okay. So citizens, they're born here, but we're going to send your parent away. So is anyone working towards that, even for those that are not old enough to be covered? It seemed like there should be something written or something to protect them if they have children that they still have to raise.
Without a doubt, once we get the DREAM Act passed, we're going to keep fighting to get comprehensive immigration reform to make sure all immigrants are covered.
Okay. All right. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the event will be like tomorrow? Do you know, like maybe who's going to be there speaking, or?
Well, we will definitely be there speaking for sure.
All right.
We're going to start off at the park. We are expecting to walk quite a bit. We are also expecting to have a few moments of, sharing our stories and talking about why this is important, and just bringing the community together, but also, like I said, marching so we are heard and we are seen, because a lot of times we aren't.
Right. Okay. All right. So we definitely, I definitely will be there.
Oh, thank you.
And I have a few other family and friends that will be there tomorrow. So we definitely want to support this, because it has been going on for too long, and it's an injustice that has to stop. No one should be treated like this. Is there anything else that you would like to share in regards to it? Any information that you'd like to share with the public that maybe we don't know that we should know, or just anything?
One thing I do want to emphasize, and I'm sure Xochitl Pai, she'll touch upon this a couple times before in previous meetings and speeches, but we stress Clean Dream Act because we don't want any other immigrants to be affected negatively by this. We don't want them to use us as bargaining chips to separate more families.
Right.
So when we stress the Clean Dream Act, when they say that we shouldn't pay for the sins of our parents, it shouldn't be a sin to want to feed your family and want to provide for them. So that's why we stress the Clean Dream Act with no funding for border wall or more deportation agents.
Do you have anything you want to share?
Just like everybody's welcome to come. This isn't just an issue of, like, a lot of times it's seen as just like a Hispanic or Latino issue. It's really not, because the legislation that's being passed is targeting a lot of minority communities as well. So everybody's welcome to come, and I hope they show up tomorrow. That's it.
Okay. You mentioned other minority, and that was the thing when you read more about it. You think it's just one particular nationality, and it's not.
No.
Can you tell us more about other nationalities that are affected by it? Because I think the public just needs to know that is not just one particular group that's being targeted.
No, I mean, I personally met people from that would be covered by the DREAM Act, either because they had TPS or they had DACA. People from Poland, people from South Korea. I mean, people from Congo, Senegal, Haiti, Central and South America, all over the world, really. So, I mean, there's literally all over the world.
Okay. All right. Well, we definitely want to make sure that, we give the support WHPR and Empowered Living, our TV show, we wanted to make sure that we made sure that the community understood what was going on and that they were aware that there is a march, and anytime that there is something going on, we need to make sure that we are aware of it and that we are in full support of people in the United States, because everybody should be treated fairly. And there's a lot of misconceptions, so if you come out and just hear them speak and get a clear understanding what's going on, we will be marching again. Tell them where exactly.
It's Roosevelt Park. It's right by Corktown in front of the train station, and it starts at 3.
3 o'clock. Okay. Now, will there be anything maybe to sign up? Is there anyone that, if they haven't gotten their paperwork done, how does that work? Because I know they were saying that there are some people that have not, by a certain deadline, had their paperwork in. So can you explain that, or will there be any type of help to them sign paperwork or anything?
Yeah, actually, recently there was a judge order which allowed people to renew their DACA. They just can't apply for the first time. But the people who did have it and it did expire, or they're due to expire soon, they're able to renew it. So, and we do have a workshop tomorrow. It starts at, I believe, 12. I think Sochi has a little more information about that.
We're going to have a workshop in the Michigan United office, and it's mainly focused on dreamers, helping dreamers fill out their paperwork, because there are some dreamers that can still apply right now because of this judge order. So we're focusing on helping them, and then we kind of decided, because everything that's going on, to kind of make a march out of it as well.
Okay. All right. So thank you both for taking your time out of the day. I know you're busy because you're getting ready for tomorrow, but thank you for coming by the station, sharing this information, because this is very important in the community all across Michigan. We want to make sure that we are doing our part. So thank you for joining us for this special update on WHPR. And again, my name is Marshall Bryant, and I'm one of the hosts from Empowered Living. WHPR is the place to be, and we love our city, Detroit. Okay. Is there anything else? We got a little bit more time,
okay. I guess we did this too. I guess what we didn't get a chance to do, how we usually start is we share our story.
Okay.
And I'll just give you like the short version so Juan can share his story too.
Okay.
So I came here at the age of 2.
Okay.
I really don't remember very much about, I'm originally from Mexico. I don't remember very much from Mexico. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't really realize that I didn't have the paperwork that I needed to be in this country legally until I was in high school, junior in high school, right around the time when I was trying to figure out how to get a license. I realized that I couldn't. At the same time, I also had the stress of applying for college and getting into college. I had always wanted to go to U of M, and that just didn't turn out for me because of my situation, but I was able, through a lot of hard work, to figure it out, and I went to Detroit Mercy, which I'm very thankful for. I graduated 3 years ago now. Wow, that feels weird. I graduated 3 years ago with my bachelor's in education. So right now I'm currently a teacher. And I mean, just because I just want to like kind of stress, it is very stressful every day to wake up, check the news, and just try to kind of cope with the whole reality of everything getting taken away. I have worked really hard to get where I am, and I'm very proud of where I am. And also kind of to cope with the reality of, like, if something were to happen, worst case scenario, like, my students would be left without a teacher. And we do have a teaching shortage right now, so I don't want that to happen either. So that's a little bit about myself, and I think it just helps understand the situation better when you hear just the person's story.
And would you like to share your story?
Yeah, just like Sochi, I came when I was a toddler as well. I was 1 year old, and I mean, I don't remember anything about Mexico, to be honest. I came with my older sister, and she was 5, and I was 1. And my father had actually already been here, and he didn't see my sister growing up for the first 4 or 5 years of her life. He was here on a work permit, and he had to go back to renew it. And that's when I was born. He had to make the decision: do I leave my family again, or do I bring them with me? So he made the decision to bring us with him, and now we're here, right? But same with Sochi. I didn't realize this was how much of an impact this would have on my life until I was older in high school. When I tried applying for my first job, I got a job pretty quickly as a dishwasher. And on my second day, they asked me for my social security card. And when I couldn't provide, they had to let me go. That's when I realized this is actually going to affect my life. I'm not going to be able to work. I can't get a license. It was very frustrating. And I mean, I coped. I did what I could. I started going part-time to school. And then DACA came along, allowed me to get a job, allowed me to get a driver's license. It opened up a lot of opportunities for me, a lot of different doors. Right now, I'm currently working downtown at Quicken Loans and going to school full-time at Wayne State. I plan on becoming a lawyer. And I'm divided on either become an immigration lawyer or a civil rights lawyer, but I do want to work within that field. They go hand in hand, so we'll see where I end up. But I mean, these issues, they drive me, they motivate me. It was, once all this started happening, the day that I seen that the Muslim ban was shot down in court, that's when I said I want to be a part of the judicial branch. I want to be able to hold, you know, power accountable, hold these systems accountable. So whenever there's an injustice done, be able to be on the front lines, take people to court, whatever it takes. And that's why I'm going to school now to become a lawyer, and that's why we need the DREAM Act, because for me to be able to, you know, exercise in the state of Michigan as a lawyer, I'm going to need, you know, the resources, the tools. So
that's right. Okay. Well, and like you said, as a teacher, I'm a teacher too. So
Oh, you are?
yeah, I'm a teacher, and that's why we created Empowered Living. And I used to want to be a lawyer, but then I realized in the classroom, all those issues are right there, and you have to fight for them. And because you're just like yourself, your students are attached to you. And just imagine, and from a teacher's point of view, I actually have thought about this situation because all of our students are not the same nationality. And I've had students at one particular time where a parent actually was sent out of the country, but she was able to come back and got her paperwork together. So that does affect students, and just think people don't realize students are emotionally, when they're attached to their parent, their day in school is not, it's not a good day, you know, learning, and then just like they're attached to you as a teacher, you know, you're getting used to your professors, everything, you know, it just, we have to just really think deeply and get involved and get active in this situation, because these are people's lives, and we definitely, you know, you've contributed a lot to this country, and you don't even know anything about Mexico, so, you know, we got to stand up.
I do know a little bit. I study history. But
Okay. But no, I mean, it's just like
No,
to go, and it's just like, oh, let me just start my life all over again. You know, that's
that
just,
thought right now at this, like, just when you're starting your life, to start your life somewhere else, I mean, honestly, I can't even wrap my mind around it.
Yeah. Well, thank you both for coming in.
thank you for having us.
Sharing your story, standing up for injustice. You also have somebody with you, and they have on a shirt. I wanted to kind of show it off, but your shirt that you have on is what does your shirt say?
Everybody versus injustice.
Everybody versus injustice. Well, we're going to stand up and we're going to march tomorrow for this injustice, and we're going to be marching again to the location.
It's at Roosevelt Park. It's right by Corktown. It's going to start at 3. Everybody's welcome to come.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us on this special 30-minute episode. Of course, this is part 1 of this discussion. We will continue it again on Empowered Living on February the 11th, and we will have more information for people to share when they come into the studio, and have more interviews on Empowered Living. Thank you, and have a great evening, Detroit.
If you hear this message, wherever you stand, I'm calling every woman, calling every man. We're the generation, we can't afford to wait. The future started yesterday, and we're already late. We've been looking for a song to sing, search for